Welcome back, everyone. Mike McConville here, Stratford, Ontario, Canada. We're mixing it up a little bit this time. I'm going to bring you in first and show you the completed compensated nut. So these are 9 to 46 strings at concert pitch, and this is for this 1967 ES 330. Remarkable condition. So we're going to start by doing the tuning check first and let you hear and see a completely calibrated guitar. And then for those of you that are interested in doing this type of work, there's a full 40-minute video for the Tier 3 Patreon subscribers on my Patreon channel. Cheers. Enjoy. So a quick tuning test. That's about as close as it's ever going to get. Let's go. These are the final bridge locates, and this is the final job on the frets. They're all buffed out, leveled, crown polished. This is the progression I've looped. I'll let that play and you can hear the balance between the pickups. Of course, it acts as a humbucking mode when it's in the center. A little bit of hum with each single coil pickup, and that's just the way it's wired. So here goes. Blues vamp in A, and you kind of let this thing rip for a bit and you can hear it. Okay, here we go. put a little leather bumper pad in there so that we don't mar that top. Okay, so what do we got here? Yeah, we got a bit of rock and roll, and we're going to take care of that. So the threads into the body are fine. This is actually threaded right into the hardwood, so no issue there. I see at some point someone doubled up the thumb wheel adjustment, which is okay. That's not a bad idea. Kind of stabilize it right at the surface of the top, and then use the top thumb wheels to adjust the actual action. So I do heat up that blade before I score this. To get this out safely. So give that a try. See how we make out. Easy does it. That is what we got. Bring you in for a closer look as we clean up that hot glue, because it's warmed up now from the hairdryer, with a hot chisel. So the trick here is always work from the outside of the nut inwards towards the center of the fingerboard. If you push all the way through, there's a chance you may chip off some of that very old lacquer. So resist that urge to push all the way through. Okay, I'll take you around the other side. Same thing here. I just heated up that chisel again so that it's hot to get that softened glue off nice and clean. Working from this outside edge towards the center. So to get a nice crisp outside edge, I actually use a file, again working from the outside in. If you look, you'll see that I've ground that file down on the edges. It actually thinned it a little bit so that I can get into those narrow slots. So I'm bringing this edge flush, getting rid of the last of that glue, so when we put our blank in, we get a nice tight fit. I brought you around that side so you can kind of see that ledge that I've got. Very happy with that. Nice and crisp, no chips of lacquer, nice and clean. I'm doing the same now on the treble side here, just getting a nice crisp ledge. So just so you get a good look, this is the original nut that came off. That is the only microspec of wood that came with it. That's how clean we got it out, and that's how clean you should get it out. Okay, so this is step one. I've cut the length. You can see that's quite a bit longer, leaves us lots of forgiveness on either side. I've cut that off the length of the blanks that I send you guys. So this has been cut down from the 10-inch length that I send to you guys, those blanks. First thing we're doing is basically getting the leg of that nut to fit in there with a perfect press fit. Just check that fit. Ooh, loving that. Okay, next step. Well, I wanted to bring you in very close to show you just how shallow that radius is. So this is our straight ledge for the overhang. That is the radius that we need to put on that. This is done on that new radius disc sander that you fit into your drill press. I'll use this template to sort of check my progress. Okay, over to the drill press. I know that this is a big challenge for you guys to put this radius on. Here's how long I take. let's check that. And we could work it a little tiny bit more. And that's pretty darn close to a perfect fit. Let's check it against the guitar. The next move is to reduce the height of that leg until the shelf makes intimate contact with the fingerboard surface. Now we're ready to radius the crown. I love that foot switch. Back to the guitar. This is what we ended up with. Man, I'm still blown away by this neck. I am serious when I say it's the best Gibson neck I have seen in years. Very little correction. Cover back on. Now we're going to address this looseness. That'll give us that center to center press fit we're after. Beautiful. So that's firmed it right up, big time. Okay, now we can put some strings on. Get this started. The nut of that guitar is basically higher than the center of my chest. And that allows me the luxury. I'm actually leaning on the guitar neck, which is supported by the neck support, and I am eyeballing that thing. I can look straight down the file and chase that right to its post. So having that up, being able to kind of eyeball this as you're filing it is a huge advantage, because you know, you do have to watch out for the string spacing as you go, and I'll bring you in for a closer look on that one too. See, I've chased that B string while I'm yakking away at the camera. I've chased that over too far, so I got to move it back towards the G. Take that material off the back of the nut and chase that B string to its post. Try that again. Much better. All 6 strings are done. So to take up all that slop and play in the saddles, I'm just flooding some Loctite on those cuffs, because that's where most of the play is. Let that wick right in there and set up. For the originality police, it's a better alternative than swapping out the bridge. This is the original bridge with the solid bone saddles. So I've let that kind of wick right down. I'm just taking up the excess with a Q-tip here. I really want to encourage that to kind of fill that void to get rid of all that schlocky play and stuff that you saw earlier. It looks like we could use a little bit more in that low E. Normally this stuff is used for the threads, and it works fine on threads, but it also helps to kind of just stiffen up all that looseness. But now that the guitar is set up, Michael can just relax, stick to those strings religiously, and he's good for the long run. So here's the tricky part about doing the Gibson style nut. Maintaining the distance between strings can be pretty tricky because as you cut into the nut to adjust the values, because the strings are canted, and they're purposely canted, I aim them towards their respective posts. What happens is as you cut in, well, the string moves in a little bit. So you'll go, you got to go around the block a few times with these Gibson nuts, to sort of get it right. But I just want to give you that tip. As opposed to the Fender nuts that just go straight through. Just wanted to point that out about the Gibson nuts. So as you cut your values, and this is why you leave lots of height, as you get on the home stretch. So if you've got enough height or meat in the actual nut blank, then that allows you that forgiveness if you start to drift a little bit on the string spacing.